Week 2 of the NFL season is a wrap, and we are here to break it down. We looked at the film, and we'll give you our takeaways. This is Film Don't Lie on A2D Radio, and we are brought to you by Alonzi Travel, specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, especially yours truly, create a custom vacation for you. Pete, week 2 was a
You
little.
gotta add your hashtag at the end of that where they can find you.
Oh yeah, maybe I should. So I'll add that for next.
I wanted to say it last week, but
hey, like usually on my socials, you can just reach out to me. I have a separate business socials on TikTok and Instagram at Disney Chucks. But hey, if you want to hit me up directly, that works too. So you know where I'm at. But yeah, I'll start tagging myself into the banners. But yeah, week 2, Pete. A lot more stable than week 1, I think, but a few more surprises. There really weren't that many marquee matchups.
the games were still close. Some.
Yeah. The game of the week, though, that the NFL was pushing, and for good reason, was the Eagles-Chiefs, putting them in the prime slot of 425. And so we are going to talk about that. Also, because there was no Eagles talk last night, so someone's got to talk about Eagles on at the station, so why not us? So let's get into it. But before we do, since we are going to talk about our bread and butter, about our home Eagles, let's bring on a guy who has been covering the Eagles for a long time, well respected, and a friend of ours, Mr. Les Bowen. Les, how are you?
Just great, guys. How are you?
We're doing really, really well. Thank you for coming on with us. You're usually with us on Eagles Talk, but glad to have you here. This is your second time on Film Don't Lie, so we appreciate you taking the time to talk some ball with us
and being flexible. Being flexible.
And at my age, that's hard. I'm not as flexible as I once was.
But you can be as good once as you ever were.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the poll question. Again, we're leading off with Eagles Chiefs before we get into the rest of the league. But our poll question for today: both of the Eagles and Chiefs passing game flaws will be fixed at some point this season. Agree or disagree? As we saw in that game, it was kind of ugly. Both teams had their issues passing the ball, maybe for different reasons. So, what is your confidence level that both of them will improve as the season goes on? Les, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, let's take the Eagles first because they're the team that I think more of us care about. We've seen this before with the Eagles. You still have Davante Smith. You still have A.J. Brown. They're both healthy. You're going to get Dallas Goedert back very soon, if maybe this week. We don't really know yet. You have to think that somehow things will get better. I think not having A.J. Brown for much of the or all of the training camp really and preseason probably put a few kinks in things. We all hoped it would go smoother. We all hoped that they'd pick up right where they left off with the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. But it never works like that with the Eagles for some reason. Even though they've got 11 of 12 starters back, they've got a new offensive coordinator. It's like they're figuring things out again. And I'm not sure exactly why that should be, but they are. But there's no reason to think that it won't work out. With the Chiefs, kind of similar. I mean, they're going to get Rashee Rice back. No, I'm sorry. They're going to get Rice is suspended. They'll get him back eventually. They're going to get Worthy back before Rice. Some things will fall into place then. It's a little cloudier with the Chiefs in that I read some stuff from Kansas City after the Eagles game, and people there, we're not the only ones who think that the Super Bowl is sort of the indication of the start of decline of the Chiefs dynasty. I think there's a strong feeling that this is looking pretty stale, that the offensive concepts that Mahomes is masking, in the first half Sunday, the 60 rushing yards, he kind of, he was their offense. They had not been a productive offense in either of the first 2 weeks. And Yeah, it's a little, I don't think their offensive line is great. Travis Kelce is 35 years old. He was having a really good day, I thought, up until the moment when he handed that ball to Drew Mukuba. But that was the play of the game, and things like that seem to be happening to him and to them after they won a whole bunch of real close games on the last possession last year. So I think more or less, yes, I do agree. But with Kansas City, I agree a little less strongly than I do about the Eagles.
Okay. All right. Interesting. How
Very.
about you?
I agree. And like Les said, and like you stated before, I think it's very similar situations and similar performance through 2 weeks, but for completely opposite different reasons. Where I think Kansas City's more scheme, but I also think it's a lot more personnel and availability of personnel. Not having Xavier Worthy, not having Rashee Rice, maybe not sticking their toe in the water of pursuing a Davante Adams, things of that nature. I think it also is a little bit of scheme. I also think it's a little bit age as well. But also I think from teams that are opposing the Chiefs, I think Super Bowl 59 showed the world that these guys are not invincible. And they haven't been beaten in a big game on that stage in that fashion. That was all time, because at one point the score was 40-3, if I'm not mistaken, at some point, or 34-3 or something like that. With all that being said, like Les said earlier, we just people who watch this platform when it drops, when it goes live and it premieres, tell your boys a like and a subscription, please. Eagles, it's more concerning for me. And that's not just because it's close to home, but I would also say that from the outside looking in, because everything that Lester said, offensive line, Chiefs, it's a little shaky. We just talked about the personnel, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, not being available. When you look at the Eagles offense, that's not the case. Offensive line is, if not the best, one of the best in the league. Your personnel group is not, if not the best, one of the best in the league as well. So why can't we make this thing work? And it was something I saw, and I think, Chuck, you shared it, and then also where it said A.J. Brown ran the same route 10 times. Like, it's not so much about the personnel. You can have the person. We've seen it. Teams be loaded on paper, right? It's what are we doing with these route concepts? What are we doing getting the ball out of time? And what is the defense doing as well? And Kansas City Chiefs defense is not what I think it was, but it's also not bad. But at times it almost seemed like Jalen wanted to go somewhere with the ball. And it's almost like the Chiefs defense knew what we were running before. But they were to spots in some cases before our wide receivers got there. And I get it. Kansas City's defense is one thing. Kind of could say week one with Dallas, but we just had Russell Wilson throw for 450 on that team.
Mm-hmm.
450. He led the league in passing last week or week two. I'm not saying we want to chuck it. That's not how we are built. But when we need to be able to throw the ball, in some cases, we need to be able to do that. I was a point in that game to where I felt like the offense was banging their head against the wall. I mean, I don't know, in that fourth quarter after they had took the 20-10 lead, what they just thought they were going to milk the clock. And for a long time from Sirianni's teams, we never saw them to play to win the game. They just kept playing. It wasn't, let's not try to lose the game. And that's what I kind of felt that a little bit in the second half, especially in the second half of the fourth quarter on Sunday. And I don't like that trend, especially with the teams these next 3 or 4 weeks that we are playing on the schedule, because the same way that we felt about the Chiefs going into Super Bowl 59, guess who's the team that everybody else in the league feels like that about? It's the Eagles, because they are the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. So you have to bring it, right? And I'm very scared. No, I'll say very scared. I am worried about Sunday at 1:00. And from what we see, and we'll get into it later, there's a guy on the other side that looks like he's turned back the clock a little bit, and Davante Adams. But I think the way in the path to get, it's crazy, because I think the way in the path to get there for the Chiefs may be slightly easier than what the Eagles are, because I think Eagles and Kevin Patullo maybe
trying to find their identity of what they want to do and how they can, if plan A doesn't work and we don't get what we want and we don't see what we like, okay, how many in routes or how many 10 yards deep routes can we run? How many AJ Brown slants can we run? Can he run a sluggo? He can, but is it being called? What are we seeing? Because at some point, the tread on that tire is going to wear thin, and the tire's going to have a blowout, right? Proverbially speaking. So it's frustrating because we've seen this trend, and we've seen all pundits say the Eagles offense isn't complex. It's very simple, but they rely on personnel. But now we said, is the way to beat the Chiefs out there? So those concepts getting stale, that could be very well easily said about the Eagles. And then now how do we adjust? How does Patullo adjust? Is it when he was just the passing game coordinator, he was assistant offensive coordinator, whatever you want to call it last year, he can look at these things from afar and kind of see. But now as you get closer to it, that sometimes your judgment can get a little bit more cloudy, right? Or you may not be as aware of other things and may not be as, I won't say as approachable because we don't know, we're not in the building, but just how, as you get closer now, as you get more responsibility, do you still keep that same fluidity and that same flexibility, or now do you become more rigid, right? So only time will tell. Personnel-wise, the Eagles should be able to figure it out. Better offensive line. Obviously, I want to say better quarterback, but a quarterback that is capable of doing it, and definitely better skill position players. So let's see. I mean, because it was completely different than week one. Week one, we saw screen passes. We saw creativity. I don't think we saw any of that in Kansas City. It was almost like, hey, we're in a dogfight. We're going to be one play to separate this game. When we get the lead, let's not just try to lose it, right? Let's just play very simple football, not turn the ball over, not put the ball in harm's way. I don't think you'll be able to do that in at least these next two games.
Three games.
Well, I mean, because you got what? You got Rams, Buccaneers, Broncos. Right?
Yep.
And Bucks are in Tampa, and so you got home, away.
The other two are home. Yeah.
Yep.
The other two are home.
Yep. I'm going to agree to the poll. I'll address the Chiefs side. It is more so personnel-wise. Obviously, you guys have touched on it. And, I mean, I'm not even that high on Xavier Worthy, but for what his role is going to be on that team. And they've made an emphasis. The Chiefs have made an emphasis in the offseason. They've made it apparently clear. They want to get back to being more aggressive. Mm-hmm. And part of that was having Xavier Worthy on. I mean, Hollywood Brown is Hollywood Brown, but we know what he is. He's light. You lay one hand on him and he doesn't stand. Like he doesn't have a lot of strength and he's not good in contact. So he's very light in his approach and he's not going to be able to take contact well. Outside of him, like what else do you have? You don't have much. So with Rashee Rice waiting to come back after suspension, maybe he does offer more explosive plays in a different dimension because you know what he is. They get the ball in his hands in the short and intermediate areas and they let him cook with yards after the catch. So, having those two come back will probably add some stuff. I forget who it was who said it. I don't remember if it was just one of the people I follow on Twitter or if it was an analyst I follow, but I did read somewhere that like this Chiefs team though is starting to look a little bit kind of like how the Andy Reid Eagles teams were in terms of passing game, where the wide receiver position isn't really heavily invested in and there's not much talent there, and they're asking the quarterback to just deal. And that's not good. I mean, and even during those seasons, at least McNabb had Westbrook. So he had a good running game and a legit receiver. Their running game right now in Kansas City is
non-existent.
You have two bruisers who provide no explosiveness, right? Like Pacheco, we love Pacheco, but he's not an explosive runner, and Kareem Hunt is past his prime, and we know what he is, but they don't have any explosiveness coming from the running back position.
Right.
It was that way last year. It's gonna probably be this way this year, unless if that rookie Brashard Smith provides something. So, what does Mahomes have to work with in the passing game? He doesn't have much to work with, and we shall see if the added talent will fix it. But until we do, it's like, all right, it's about, are you willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, knowing who they are? And so I think
based off reputation,
sure, but it is on the back of your mind, like, is this getting stale? So that's what the Chiefs with the Eagles. Like, after looking at the film, it's just got a lot of the similar frustrations there were in some points of last season. A lot of the stuff, I don't want to say a lot of stuff, but like even more so the case in 2023 with Brian Johnson. But the thing is, this is at its core, this has always been an MO of Nick Sirianni's offense in terms of the game,
that's
right?
a good point.
It's always been the MO is that they never have been a creative scheme. Like we saw the most creative they've gotten was last year under Kellen Moore, where at times, some weeks we were like, oh wow, there's motion. Oh wow, there's 3x1 sets. There's this and that. He's adding stuff. And there were games, especially in the playoffs, where Kellen Moore was in his bag, and we were like, this is good. Like, he was a solid offensive coordinator.
Yeah. But they're motioning to, all over the place right now. They're still not running any
it's like
concepts or,
It doesn't do anything. It's useless motion. Right. It's just so like I don't know what, like, when I was taking notes of the film, I'm just like, a lot of this stuff is the same stuff.
What I saw, and I'm much too lazy to go through and chart this myself, but I did read that basically if they're in shotgun, they pass. If they're in pistol, they run.
You run.
And if he's under center, they run. Of course, a lot of those are tuck push, but nonetheless, it's, it's
predictable. It's predictable.
And they have they like the two wide receivers over here and two over here.
2x2 sets, yep.
And it's just they don't seem to get. I know that zone defenses, and I thought the Chiefs did a wonderful job of like handing off things. That it's very hard to break anybody really open against them the way they were playing, but it's you got AJ Brown and Davante Smith, and you can't figure out a way to get them the ball unless you're throwing it horizontally. That seems wrong to me.
It's really weird, and just like with the 2x2 sets, when you're constantly doing 2-man route concepts to either side of the field, there's only so many concepts you can use. There's not like if you have a 3x1, and people wonder why 3x1 is so prevalent, is because you can do so many things out of that. But 2x2 is it's there's only so many different ways. And if you're a defense and you see it coming, you can easily defend it because of a lot of the times your man count on them, you're outnumbering that. You can put 3 on 2.
And that was frequently the case Sunday. Especially with AJ Brown, he would be in a zone and there'd be like a chief here, a chief there, and a chief back here.
And it's hard to, unless if there's a really great, like things have to be perfect from a route running perspective, where you're able to really force a breakdown in coverage.
Or you can run a slant like they did to AJ a bunch of times. And I like the slant to AJ, but you got to do more with him than that.
Exactly.
It's almost like with the Chiefs, going back to them real quick, if you're a DC and you're looking at the personnel on the offense and you're making a game plan, especially with what they have right now, nothing feared. Like it's Mahomes, right? And then it's Kelsey.
By Mahomes, which the Eagles didn't do in the first half.
Right. And it's like with the Eagles, it's almost you get the same result, but it's different. It's like you look at on paper, how are we going to stop this? How are we going to stop that? And then you watch tape. It's like you said, a chief here, a chief there, a chief everywhere. Everywhere is a chief, right? Yeah. Because they're not doing anything, even in the remote slightest, to try to give a different look or give something that can take advantage of the personnel. I think, and that's kind of the most frustrating part for me. It's like the personnel is so good. If we just made some slight adjustment to what the Chiefs were doing, it would not be this hard, right? And we could win 24-10 or 31-17 because guess what? There's a guy that's coming in here Sunday who can scheme personnel players open, and he has good personnel now.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they're going to have to score more points. But
and that's they're going to run into that at some point, right, Les?
Right.
Where they're going to have to put up more than 20 something.
And there are two things about Sunday also that I want to say. One was that so they have no Dallas Goedert, but they're running a lot of 12 and 13 personnel anyway. Now, to me, if you don't have your tight end, maybe you stay away from heavy tight end stuff. It would seem to make sense to me. And that a lot of the screw ups where Calcaterra couldn't block somebody, he was trying to block like George Karlaftis, no. Yeah, that's not you don't do that.
Les, do you remember last year
the Washington game?
We did a show after the loss to Washington. And after that, I had made it a point of emphasis. I said, outside of Hurts leaving the game, the biggest factor in us losing that game was the poor blocking by the tight ends because we didn't have Goddard.
Yeah.
And ever since then, especially, I've been saying you need blocking tight ends. If you're going to be a running team and Goddard's going to miss time every single season, you need better blocking tight end. I think this was another prime example of that. I mean, you take the first play from scrimmage, and there's 2 points to take away from this. Like, I was debating showing this place in the film room, but we'll just discuss it here because I think it's been shown. I know Fran Duffy showed it on his breakdowns. A few other of my friends showed it too. But the first play, you talk about pistol, right? And the tendency of, hey, every time we're in pistol, we run it. Well, a good argument or a good take that Fran Duffy had mentioned is the coaches might be deliberately setting something up by running it that many times because they're showing a tendency and they want to set something up. You could argue that shot play, the first play from scrimmage, was that setup, right? Because the Chiefs probably saw that they're always running from pistol. So they set up a shot play, and A.J. Brown is wide open. And can you imagine if the Eagles have hit the first play of the game with a deep shot to A.J. Brown and a touchdown, how much different that would have made the game. But the reason why it doesn't hit is because Calcaterra, especially,
the blocking doesn't hold up.
Hansen, you're coming in as the H back, is not able to block the defender, the blitzer, and Hurts has to avoid the pressure and plays blown up, right? And it's just so frustrating again to see the incompetence and the deficiencies of the backup tight ends and their inability to block, but this team insists for some reason to put them in there. I don't get it. Like you
Calcaterra can catch if you throw him the ball, but they really didn't throw him the ball.
Yeah. He's in there because he's a solid receiving tight end. If he can't block, never put him in line. Like have him as a flex tight end, and that's his role.
Or a 3-by-1 set and be one of the three.
Yeah, and I don't understand why their insistence to do this. Now, there is a glimmer of hope because Cameron Latu he came in and he was actually pretty good at blocking. Now, they
were using him as a fullback.
They designated him now as a fullback, even though he had been a tight end. He changed his number. He's now 36, and I believe in the press conference, Nick said that they look him in as a fullback. So he's a fullback. So I mean, his role's not going to change now. He's not going to overtake Calcaterra or Granson. And Granson wasn't horrible week one. He had some moments and he was solid in week one, but at the same time, that's also not his forte. Right. It's super frustrating to know that that was something if I can see it, and I'm nobody. Last year, how in the world can that not be addressed? I mean, even if we had Jack Stoll back, I was Jack Stoll was one of the underrated, just great role players in terms of he's your backup tight end, your tight end 3, but you know why he's there. He's there because he can block.
Yes,
the block. Yeah.
So I it's super frustrating. It's just super frustrating that again, like you said, Les, It's one thing if they didn't have that, but they stayed away from the two tight end sets, but they keep doing it.
Right.
They keep doing it.
The other point I wanted to make before I forgot, because I'm getting forgetful in my old age. So we were talking a little while ago about them being so conservative in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I really think the tush push has bled into that. And what I mean is, so they have a lead. It's the second half. They're trying to run clock. They can run for 3 yards, throw a 5-yard pass, and then push it once or twice, and move the sticks. And the clock runs, and your offense is on the field, and maybe you're going to get points out of it eventually, someday. I really think that's become, I think in both of these games, I think that was the fourth quarter thinking, let's not take any chances. In both games, there's one turnover that basically decided the game in both times, and they didn't make it. So they don't want to make it, no turnovers. If you take a deep shot, then you're in like 2nd and 10 or something, or you get a sack or, then you can't do it that way. But as long as you're just run it, get what you can, throw a little pass, get what you can, line everybody up. I think you can do that with a lead, when you're trying to kill clock. And I think they've gotten really, really kind of addicted to doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. And then that is a fair point that if they think of it, they're using that to, hey, like, we have this advantage, let's use that to our advantage. And that's fine. But like you said, Les, if you have a lead,
right?
If you have a lead, there is, Pete, you said it, there's going to be a game where you're going to have to score points. You are going to have to be aggressive, and you're like, you can't live that way throughout the whole game. And again, maybe if they had hit that deep shot to AJ on the first play, maybe that changes things.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah, maybe. But like, I don't know. And it's so weird. And I think that
it's either going to be a game to where they don't have the lead, or the opposing offensive unit on the other side of the field has put up points. And they may have a lead, but they know, okay, maybe our defense is struggling. I don't want to give that guy the ball back. I mean, and we talk about if the Chiefs have lost their luster. I was not concerned if they gave the Chiefs the ball back. And that's Patrick Mahomes. You couldn't say that a year or 2 years ago.
Right.
You never give him the ball back. I don't think that's the same guy, right? I don't think he has that same, and it's not because maybe not just him, but a culmination of things. So when you have that, like, we can see it this Sunday. They can have a lead against the Rams, and we almost saw it in the divisional round last year.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter's sack was like on the 20-yard line, 15-yard line.
I remember. Yeah, that was the closest they came to losing a playoff.
Right. Stafford can still sling it, right?
So can. Yeah.
And that's a team. If you have a 6 or 7 point lead in the fourth quarter, the game is not over.
Nope.
So you may have to you went from the ideology in the second half to say, okay, let's be conservative. Let's not put the ball in harm's way. We don't really fear anything on their offensive side, to where, hey, we may need to get these points instead of, and 7 points may not be enough. We may need to get a field goal. Because that changes your ideology as well. And I don't like how Les said, I don't like how it's not almost like the game comes to them. It's like, don't use the tush push as a crutch. If you have a chance to put a team away, put a team away, right?
Well, the other thing is, last year, I think the passing game opened up a little after the running game became so explosive. They were getting explosive plays from Saquon Barkley. So once teams really had to load up on that, then they were able to pass more effectively, I think, against a lot of teams. We haven't seen that. They're running efficiently, but he hasn't broken hardly anything. That touchdown run was about as long a run as he's had in the 2 games. They aren't getting the second level, wide open jailbreak kind of runs. I guess it's the defenses, but Yeah,
which will make sense.
It's a lot different when they don't have that.
Right, but it will also, if that's the case, if they're seeing different defenses, right, that also should put a more emphasis on how can we get this passing game more credible to where it is a threat? Because right now you literally have two talented wide receivers who defenses are not really feared by, not because of their individual skill. It's just the position that you're putting your players in. You're not putting them in a position to succeed, which is making it more challenging. And this team is good enough to overcome those challenges and still be 2-0. But who knows what we'll be talking about 2, 3, 4 weeks from now.
Right.
Yeah. Les, you made a point, and as we wrap up this discussion, you made a point before we went on that, like, because you have an article coming out about Kevin Patullo in his press conference. And one of the issues right now with the Eagles passing game is it's either short or maybe an occasional deep shot. There's nothing in the intermediate, and they're just not being aggressive.
Hurts is the only NFL quarterback who hasn't attempted a 10 to 19 yard.
Nothing in the intermediate level. Nothing yet. What can you tell us about Kevin Patullo's press conference, maybe in regards to that, and other questions about the passing game?
Yeah, Patullo was kind of interesting. I don't have anything great on that other than he talked about it in the context of the Kansas City game. They were getting blitzed a lot and was getting the ball out quickly, so they were going shorter. I still think you can hit an intermediate pass against a blitz, but what do I know? He talked about overall in the passing game about how tight the games have been and what a premium mistakes have been. Mistakes just have destroyed the other teams, and they don't want a bad sack or a turnover to derail their offense. And I think they've just been extra special careful. I think one of the things he was saying was what you were saying about that first play shot. Had the games gone a different way, they had plenty of stuff in the game plan that they could have used. But once the game settled into this sort of trench warfare type of thing, that they kind of went that way with everything they did. And, I do think they're going to have to get out of it. I do think they're going to have to break some tendencies. And I do think he's going to have to come up with some different ideas than what we've seen these first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he definitely is going to have to, because like we said, next matchup especially, they've got some dudes that can really air it out.
I don't like this game at all, really, given how the Eagles offense is playing. I still think the Eagles are the better team in the long run, but Rams are playing a little better right now. Stafford is really playing well, and Mukuba, they will put a lot of pressure. I think the Eagles defense is up to that, but I don't think the defense is. There were some busts that they didn't end up causing them as much damage as they might have against Kansas City. That one horrible where the two defensive backs ran into each other and Morton was running scot-free, and Mahomes missed him. You're not going to be able to do that against the Rams. You're gonna give up a lot of points.
And then even the one that Thornton they hit the Thornton on the touchdown where they ran it, and Reed, I don't know, Reed just took the wrong choice.
About that play, no one knows who's up.
Yeah, Frank Duffy thought it might be Mukuba that should have gone over. I don't know.
And then EJ was saying that because of the type of coverage, it might have been on Quinion.
Yeah,
like no one knows because there's it's a really confusing.
But it sure looked like Quinion said, "Okay, there's nobody. I guess I've got to get back there." It didn't look like Quinion was trying to cover.
Yeah. It's really weird. You have to I don't excel in defensive breakdown. That's why I usually stay away from posting that content. But when I was looking at it, I'm like, this is way too confusing for me. And Fran even said this is he doesn't know because it's so complicated. So if you want to, if anyone wants to check out Fran's breakdown of or explanation of it and why it's a confusing play, definitely check that out. And it's just I don't think any of us will know. The only people who really know are people is
Right.
Vic and them. So who knows whose fault it was, but regardless, yeah, you have those breakdowns. You're against the Rams, and I think that it's not so much. I like the way you worded it, Les, is that like in the long run, I think the Eagles are the better team, but it could be a case where we're facing the Rams at the wrong time because they're clicking, and our defense, while still really good, does have some things they have to clean up on the back end, and you still have a big question mark in Adoree Jackson.
Yeah.
Even though Adoree did play better last
He had some good plays, but he had some really bad plays.
Yeah, so this is a different animal
Yeah.
now against the Rams, and
Right.
you have that aspect of it, and then you have our passing game still trying to find their groove. So it could just be a thing of like
The best hope might be this is a 10 a.m. game for the Rams who are going from the other coast.
Yeah.
They don't like those. They try to get those off their schedule. The 1 o'clock Eastern start, it's bad for the players. It's bad for their fans to have a game starting at 10.
And it's the second week in a row.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But other than that, I think the Rams are off to a little better start, a little smoother start than the Eagles are.
Yeah, at least offensively. So yeah, I can see it in a shootout, and I think P and I were talking about it too. Like I could see this game. I could see this as a loss for the Eagles. I'm not going to make a prediction and say it is. I can see a scenario where this is our first loss. It's just wrong team at the wrong time right now, and but I mean, we'll see how things go. Maybe that time change of travel will affect the Rams enough to give us the edge. But Les, anything else you wanted to touch on Eagles wise?
Well, I think I got through most of my stuff pretty well. We don't know anything about Goddard yet. I think that'll be a big factor for this week. I really don't think that this is for the Eagles a matter of Jalen Hurts not seeing things.
It's not.
We had that some last year, but I don't think we've had that this year. I really don't. And I don't know whether that's less concerning or more concerning.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing really well. I think I charted one, maybe two plays where I could have said, you could have pulled the trigger early.
But every even the best.
Yeah, even exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So like if it's one or two plays where I'm like questioning like, his decision there, then it's not he's playing well for what's in front of him. We got to just.
There needs to be something better in front of it.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, I think they said that they blitzed 16 out of his 24 dropbacks, so it's 64%. It was the highest blitz rate since Steve Spagnuolo's arrived since 2019.
Wow. Yeah, and it's again a common theme is a lot of those all-out blitzes. There were nothing hot, all vertical routes. So that's why you saw Jalen just kind of fuck it up.
Yeah,
it's frustrating, but hopefully Kevin Patullo fixes it. Hopefully the whole passing game does. I think they did it last year. They fixed it last year. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and remain hopeful. But I think it's gotta start to tune. Like it's gotta really find its groove soon, or else we'll be in a little bit of trouble early on. But Les, thank you so much for coming on with us and sharing your insight. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week on Eagles Talk.
Yes.
All right, Les.
Take care.
Have a great night.
That is the one, Les Bowen. Always appreciate his insight. All right, so got that out of the way. Talked about a little bit of negatives on the Eagles despite the win. So let's talk about something positive. Let's get into the film room. All right, have a little fun here. Let's talk about something positive with the Eagles. The one, Drew Mukuba, had a good game. He had
some very impactful plays.
Yeah, play of the game. We're not going to cover. We're not going to talk about or break down the interception because there's really nothing to break down there. It was
kind of seen it.
And it was man, and he was the over-the-top safety. It was a single safety, and Travis Kelce dropped it and went right to Mukuba, and Mukuba made the play. So that's as much of the breakdown as you need. But what we will cover is this play on this play on third down, which was a fantastic play. It made me jump out of my seat when I first saw it. So let's get into this. This is also, again, this is man. The Eagles are showing man coverage. How can you tell? Because look at where John Campbell is. He's lined up. This is the running back. he's lined up right over the running back. So that is an indicator that the Eagles are in man. And you can see as I play it, you can see that come to fruition. So the running back, I think, pretty sure that's Kareem Hunt. He's going to run that wheel. Jihad's with him. So Eagles are playing man, and the Chiefs are running a variant of mesh. And if you remember, mesh is another. We haven't seen mesh. Like what? We haven't really seen mesh, have we? In our offense, we love mesh, but we haven't seen it yet. At least we didn't see it in the Chiefs against the Chiefs. But anyway, they're going to run a variant of mesh. Okay, so you're going to have Hollywood Brown come across the formation on shallow, and Travis Kelce, instead of running the mirroring shallow, he's going to kind of set a pick play. And you can see there all this garbage. He's going to stand right there and get in kind of the way of the two defenders. Here is Mukuba. He is running man with Hollywood Brown. Now, I think Honest NFL was the one that pointed this out. Usually on this call, Bowen would provide help in the coverage, but because Mahomes was killing us with his legs whenever we called man in the first half, they started to spy. So Bowen is spying here, and so it's really just Mukuba on
the closing speed. But I would give a strong assist to Bowen and the call to spy, but more importantly, Zach's depth. He did not get too deep. He did not go up too far. His patience and staying there and letting his eyes dictate what his actions were, because we can see Hollywood started on ahead of the sticks and based off of what that route was. And what it really wasn't so much Travis Kelce's pick. It was Bowen was just there, and Bowen didn't reach out. He didn't speak with his hands because he stayed on task. He stayed on assignment. It made Hollywood have to come to the ball, and then we can just see Mukuba's closing speed.
Ooh, it's so fast. It's so fast. I mean, that burst and acceleration, and as I play it back, I mean, that closing speed to get right there. That is a thing of beauty. And this was important because this resulted in a 4th and 1, and the Chiefs went for it, and we stopped them.
Yep.
So remember that this resulted in that 4th down stop for the Eagles. So again, amazing play by Mukuba. This isn't easy, and that speed and burst to be able to really click and close on the ball like that and allow no gain. Fantastic stuff.
And also he learned from this because there was a play in the first half when Mahomes was running wild. He just went low on Mahomes, and Mahomes trucked him, proverbially speaking. And the first thing I said is, Mukuba, hit what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And this was perfect form tackle, eyes up, head up. There was no doubt about it. Hollywood had no choice but to go down.
Yeah. You were very. I remember seeing that too, and I was like, you're just laying a shoulder. You're not good. Like right. you got to wrap up tackle with that head up and bring them down. So very, very good job by Mukuba. Awesome stuff. It's really, really early, so a lot of things can change. But it's really funny how so many Eagles fans were panicking about the position, and myself and
2 weeks
we're like, have you forgotten about Mukuba? Like Mukuba's here. Like he's even if you're not high on Sidney Brown, Mukuba is here. Like, and he's making plays so far in his.
I wish Mukuba was the size of Sidney.
Oh, can you imagine that?
Oh my God.
All right. So we hinted at the Rams, right, in the matchup, and we hinted at it. You talked about Davante Adams, and people forget. It's easy to forget because he's not looked at anymore as like a tier 1 wide receiver anymore. But him going to LA, playing with Matthew Stafford, week 2 against the Titans, bro, like he was awesome. All right, so like there were a little bit of struggles early on, but as the game went on, oh my God. The first thing, like I put together all his receptions and I bunched them up into this clip. We'll go quickly one by one, but the first thing I noticed as watching it is they really do move him around. So he's aligned in different spots, and you can see here he's a number 3 receiver to the strong side. All right, so he's right there, and it's circled. I made sure you guys can see, and he's just going to run that shallow, easy completion. So again, he's lined up there. Next one, again, number 2 receiver now. So he's a little bit farther out beyond the hashes. I really like this because what's going to happen is you're going to see the clear out here by the number 3 receiver. I think that is that the tight end? Yeah, or no, he's not that, but it's number 3 receiver here. He's going to run that deep dig, and that's going to clear out the defenders. And Adam is just going to.
He knows where to sit down at, right in the zone.
Right there, right in the zone. It's just very good comment, very easy, a really good way to get Davante Adams open, and he makes something happen after the catch too. So
another 20 yards, change field, it flips the field.
Now here he is, another lineman. Now he's Z, so he's off the line of scrimmage, but he's now the number 1 wide receiver up top, and you're gonna see here.
This is what I would
have. And then look at this grab. It's hard to see because we're so far away, but him plucking that ball off the turf like this. First, also look at Matthew Stafford. This is a ridiculous throw. Woo! Just a flick of the wrist sidearm. And it goes, how many yards is it going to go? It's going to go to 16, 17 yards.
17 yards.
My gosh, on a rope. And then Adam just plucks it. That's so pretty. That is so pretty. I'm going to watch that.
Between this play with the hands and then he'll run the next play. This is
that's
crazy.
That's sick. Crazy. That's sick. Next play, and I think the next 3. Now you're going to see him. Now he is in your traditional X. He's facing press coverage, and the cornerback's going to jam him or try to jam him. But boom, open. Look at that. Easy, great throw. No, look at that touch by Stafford. Look at that touch. That is perfect. It's nice and easy. Adams is able to catch it on the move. There's separation there, and another big game. I think this one, again, he is he the X here? No, he's Z again. So he's number 1 receiver up top. He's on the outside again. 1-on-1. He's facing press. Easy completion there.
And he's as he gets older, he's just using leverage, and he's just setting every one of these routes. He's just setting the DB up for where he wants to go. He's
so smart. Yeah. Even if he doesn't have the high end athleticism, he's still so smart. He still has great athletic traits. Even if they're not elite, they're still up there. And his smarts and just the ability to know how to beat corners off the line is amazing still. And this one, here's his touchdown. He's up top.
This is just a gorgeous throw. Jesus.
Gorgeous throw. It's just too easy. Boom, touchdown. I'm going to play one more time. But yeah, this is Davante Adams adds something to this offense that complements Puka Nacua so well. And Puka Nacua had a game too. So this Rams passing attack is capable of having 2 receivers that can absolutely produce. So this Eagles defense has its work cut out for them. They are going to need to really button stuff up and really be on the same page. They can't afford to have any coverage breakdowns throughout the game because this passing attack is going to make them pay. But yeah, I am looking out for Davante Adams especially and seeing where he's going to line up everywhere and how they're going to use him against the Eagles defense. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, this is almost like cheating. And this is what I was worried about because before even going to the offseason, I said and it was really about Stafford's back. If he can stay healthy, I thought that was a team with the Davante Adams signing and bringing back what they had last year in their personnel. I was like, this is a team that can give the Eagles a fit and give the Eagles a run at being the top team in the NFC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If again, that Matthew Stafford Back concern is the big thing. 2 weeks in, he's fine. We shall see how this plays out over the.
And they changed DCs, didn't they? No. I'm sorry. No, they didn't.
No, I don't think so.
No, because I'm thinking about Lou Aroma, but he's in Indy.
Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup. The Rams, their passing attack is clicking. So again, Eagles have a case of me. It could be wrong team at the wrong time, but we shall find out Sunday. The last one, I had to do a running back thing, and one of my favorite guys, you know me, one of my sons, Ken Walker had a poor outing in week 1. He bounced back in a big way in week 2 against the Steelers. He looked so much healthier, just a 1 week difference.
It looks like it was his rookie season, rookie season. Ken Walker.
It looks so good. To go play by play here. Outside zone. This is right at the beginning of the game. And the minute I saw this play, I'm like, oh, K9's back. He is back. That quickness and explosion. Look at this outside zone. Now I want you to see here. And after the mesh point, Walker's gonna almost immediately make this cut. And so you can tell that he knows that cutback lane is going to be there. Based on the alignment and the box count, you've got the 3 Steelers defenders here, so that's easy money for outside zone. So he makes that cut, and there it is. There's that open running lane. Gets to the south. TJ Watt can't get him. That burst by Kenneth Walker is too good. So TJ Watt whiffs, and Walker's off to the races for a big gain right at the beginning of the game. So again, like outside zone, you're talking about Clint Kubiak in this scheme. This is why Walker is going to feast in this scheme, because he's so good at running outside zone, and his vision, anticipatory skills, quickness, and burst are so good. So that's that. Next 2 clips. Pete, you know me. When it comes to evaluating running backs, one of the things I really look at and love to see is when a running back creates, especially behind the line of scrimmage. If something breaks down, what can you do as a running back? And Kenneth Walker is up there. If he's not the best, he's top 3 in terms of being able to create behind the line of scrimmage when there's nothing there to.
There is one play in this reel that I honestly think there's no other running back in the league that could do what he did. He may not. Obviously, I think Gibbs is ultimately the fastest. I think Bijan is a complement of all those things. Saquon is a complement of all those things. And they're all elite athletic traits. There's a play in here. I think it's probably 2 plays away.
Yeah.
Where it's just like his last Kenneth Walker III, a la parentheses, Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
That was just great because his after contact still able to go forward. Inefficient to tackle attempt, whoever that was. Yeah. But that was Cam Hayward. That was Hayward, by the way. Yeah, it was Hayward 94.
Yeah, I think it's what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is just sick. Like, I don't know any other running back in the league that can do this. Yeah, no.
It's so oh my! It's just like you can tell he's kind of just toying with him. He has his way with him, and I don't know if you remember.
It's crazy.
I don't know if you remember. I made the comparison when I was watching K9 as a prospect. I said the way he is in the backfield, it reminds me of the Matrix because he is so poised back there. Even if there's early penetration and breakdowns,
like things slow down for him.
Things slow down, and you don't see him panic, and it's like he moves faster than everyone else, and he's able to create like this in ways where it's just like, what are you doing? Like, oh my God. Like, that's a 3-yard gain, but that's impressive.
This one right here, too. Set him up. Don't. Yeah. No.
I think that was Juan Thornhill. And if you can see on here, Thornhill just freezes. He gets flat-footed, and he's frozen. Like, he's not moving for a good second. that's ridiculous. Open space running, and then this one, this is it. So
this is a touchdown.
I put this stat out. No one in league history, no one in NFL history, had scored a touchdown on 3rd or 4th down and goal with, I think, what is it? Is it longer than 15 yards to go? I think it's longer than 15 yards to go. That number I could have it slightly wrong, so don't quote me on it. But I tweeted it out if you want the actual numbers. But it's no one in NFL history had scored a touchdown on 3rd or 4th and goal from this far out. He's the first one to ever do it. And this is amazing blocking by the Seahawks offensive line, absolutely downfield. But Kenneth Walker's just his speed, burst, and vision to be able to seemingly set up those blocks and then just weave his way through the traffic. My God.
Yeah, like I said, like he has his burst back.
Yeah.
He has his burst back. So I just want him to stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the big thing. And I know that he's probably going to continue to split carries with Zach Charbonnet just because I think the Seahawks want to make sure that Kenneth Walker is healthy and he stays healthy for all year because they know they need him. I mean, like, as much as like fantasy heads want to argue and try to believe that Charbonnet is the better back, he's just not. Like, you watch him, and I think Richard Sherman had even like said it, and I retweeted it. Richard Sherman was like, "There's Charbonnet is good, but Walker's on another level," and it's so apparent his ability to make big plays and just create and that combination. His athletic talent, his talent, physical talent is elite. He is in that category. He just has to stay healthy. My God, has to stay healthy. So, but if he does, he is going to have a monster season. So that's Ken Walker. That is our film room session for this week. Let's get into our 3-step drop. And this week we're going to talk about top 3 studs of week 2. So they don't have to be in any order. Just name 3 guys who get your top 3 stars or whatnot. So you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go Kenneth Walker.
That was one of mine too. 13 carries, by the way. The stat line was 13 carries, 105 yards, a touchdown, 1 reception, 13 yards.
I mean, 22 for 143 from Bijan, but I mean, that's just to be expected. Number 2 is but he's honorable mention. Number 2 is Jonathan Taylor. I think he 165, 2 touchdowns. Great blitz pickup. For my number 1 stud, I can give it to him. It's a cheesy name, but Indiana Jones, baby.
I like that name.
Indiana Jones, baby. I'm telling you, early call is Daniel Jones comeback player of the year.
I can see that happening. I was rewatching that game and looking at some of the film. I didn't look through all the film because they didn't have time to yet, but he's balling. He's absolutely balling. It's fun to watch that Colts offense. It is just fun to watch because they have good receivers throughout. You're talking about like Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell, Tyler Warren, and then obviously Jonathan Taylor. Like, they have weapons, and Daniel Jones is playing lights out so far. So awesome stuff. I hope he's able to keep it up all year. I don't know if he is. Like, I still am a little skeptical, but it's been fun to see him play this way. So hopefully he keeps it up. So absolutely, I was debating including him. So we would have had the same exact 3. But my first one was Ken Walker. I read the stat line already. Number 2, yes, Bijan. His full stat line was 22 carries, 143 yards, 3 receptions for 25 yards. And if you look at his run chart, I'm going to pull it up here. Like, look how gorgeous that is. Like, look at all the green and look at like how many different ways it goes. That is beautiful. He only had one carry that was a tackle for loss.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful carry chart for Bijan Robinson. I mean, he's Saquon. I completely agree with Saquon. I was saying even before he said it, but Bijan Robinson is the next great one. He is that guy. He's absolutely that guy. And my third stud of the week. This guy almost didn't play last night because of an illness. He played, and he had arguably the biggest impact of anyone on the field, at least for any either defense, at least
Early game or late game?
late game. I'm especially hyped up about this guy because I picked him up in fantasy last year because he was really making some noise. And the more I studied him, I'm like, yo, this guy's gonna be elite this year. And so far through 2 weeks, he's been elite.
About Quentin Johnston?
He is a rising star. By the season's end, he is going to be considered like one of the elite at his position. It's Deion Henley, linebacker for the Chargers. Absolute stud. Full stat line was 1 interception right off the bat in the beginning of the game. 1 sack, 9 total tackles, a QB hit, and 2 passes defense. He was all over the field. And to top it off, so like I was going into last night's games in fantasy. I was down big. I had like a 20% chance of winning according to Sleeper. So I was likely going to lose. Going to that game, Henley goes off. He puts up like 40 points for me, and I win by like 20 points. So he helped me complete the Monday Night Miracle for my team. I was ecstatic. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like juiced up. I was like, let's go. So Deion Henley, if you're listening, if you're a viewer that's listening to this, remember the name of Deion Henley because he is an emerging superstar. He's so good. So good. So, all right, no huddle. Any quick topics? I have a few, but I'll let you go first if you have any.
Trouble Miami. Great game. Bad teams had good games. They were entertaining, I would say. So that may be a trend for the NFL this year. Bryce Young almost got it done. I think he threw for 330. They lost to the Cardinals.
Almost did, yeah.
Almost got it done. I'm curious to see what Geno's going to do by not throwing the ball to the other team. I think he has 3 or 4 interceptions through 2 games.
He had 3 last night. I forget how many he had in week 1. But I mean, he played well week 1, and then no one's going to know that because week 2 he puts up a stinker in prime time. So like everyone's going to remember that. But he was bad week 1. I mean, he was bad week 2.
Curious to do. Let me say this. I don't know if JJ McCarthy gets a job back. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I mean,
wouldn't that be fun?
If there's ever, you seen what Kevin O'Connell did for Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I know.
You see what Kevin O'Connell did for Sam Darnold?
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because, like, I don't want to jinx it, and like, it's probably just like the Eagles fans and us, like, rooting for.
You want him to play here?
Yeah. So, like, I don't want to say it to jinx it, but yeah, I'm thinking it. You know, I'm absolutely thinking it, and like I know, like I'm not gonna say that the Vikings, no matter how this plays out, I wouldn't say the Vikings are gonna give up on JJ McCarthy. I think long term he's still gonna be their guy, but through 2 games he has not looked good. He looked really good for that.
He may not be getting that much sleep. Him and his girl just had a newborn son, so congrats to the new parents. I hope the baby's doing well, and babies probably keep you up in that, JJ.
Yep.
And last no huddle is at any point if the 49er season goes downhill, speaking on the emphasis of how much we need a blocking tight end, do you put a feeler out there for George Kittle?
They're not going to trade him to us.
I'm just saying.
I would. I absolutely would if the price is cheap enough. I love George Kittle, but they're not going to choose him.
I would love Darnell Washington as someone cheap.
So would I. Absolutely.
Someone cheap that's on control, but I don't know if the Steelers do that, but we'll see.
So, yeah, I don't think so. I've been wanting Darnell Washington ever since the Steelers traded for Jonnu Smith. I was like, they have 3 tight ends. Like, trade us Washington. You don't need them. But the word is from the Steelers is that they like all 3 of them and want to keep all 3 of them for some reason. I don't know, but whatever. Maybe that changes. Or
I'll take Freiermuth too.
I would take him too. I would just figure Darnell's cheaper. So like that's why I was like, and Darnell like could block, right? So all right. So mine are QB injuries in week 2.
Oh,
I mean, you start with Justin Fields, who got concussed in the game, left, and he's questionable for this upcoming week. Depends if he practices Wednesday.
Jaden Daniels is now questionable.
Jaden Daniels is now questionable with that injury. We talked about McCarthy, and the big one, Joe Burrow, out for at least 3 months. At least.
Them turf toes, man. It got Purdy, now it got Burrow.
And I swear on what was it, Monday? Yeah, yesterday. Like the news I felt like came back to back with Daniels and then McCarthy. I'm like, what is going on? Like, geez, so many quarterbacks going down with injury. You hate to see it. So hopefully they all get better. I was watching the Colts Broncos game. Good game. Obviously, I mentioned that earlier. Good game. Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins had good games. Like a fun game. The ending was infuriating from operational standpoint or a standpoint or decision-making standpoint, because for some reason Shane Steichen decides to be 100% okay with setting up his like inexperienced kicker to kick it from like 50 yards out. So he's running 3 run plays with Jonathan Taylor to wind the clock down all the way to the last few seconds. And it ends up being a 60-yard field goal attempt for the kicker. I forget his name. He's never attempted a field goal attempt beyond 50 yards. So I don't know why you would be okay with that. He attempts it. He misses it badly to the right. But then the Broncos get called for leveraging on the kick, which is so dumb, because why would you do that on a 60-yard field goal attempt? You probably don't need to do anything on a 60-yard field goal attempt. You're probably going to miss it. But yeah, they get called for the penalty, and the Colts try again, and they win the game with that field goal. So just really, really stupid stuff that you hate to see. And talking about stupid stuff, I don't know if Caleb Johnson ever gets his job back this season for the Steelers as the kicker returner, because, sir, what are you doing? Like, you're not even in the rotation at running back right now. It's Jalen Warren and it's Kenneth Gainwell. Your one responsibility is kickoff returner. How do you not know the rules? If that is your one responsibility, how do you not make sure you know the rules? That's really bad. That's really bad. And I think I saw a notification that he's probably not going to return kicks for the Steelers. So, rookie, that's rough. That's rough. And then my last one is talk about rookie running backs. I know a lot of people in the fantasy community are panicking because so many rookie running backs are not doing well. I mean, Gentry, Omarion Hampton had a bad game last night. Like, I think the ones that are doing the best right now are Quinshon Judkins, who just played his first game.
Literally just played
his first game. So, like, they've been doing well, but everyone else is like, RJ Harvey had a nice run in week 1, but then didn't really do anything this week. So, like, a lot of people are like, what's going on? But as I preach, patience. It's week 2.
It's definitely a virtue.
Week 2, they're rookies. I think sometimes we get spoiled, especially at running backs, to be like, oh, rookie running back that's drafted early, they're going to produce right away. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Even Gentry got bottled up yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, the offensive line isn't great, so but he'll put up his. He's too good. Hampton is too good. Henderson, who didn't do anything yesterday or this week, too good. RJ Harvey, too good. Like, those 4 names especially, they're too good not to contribute at some point this season. They will get theirs. Just be patient. And it'll come. So just putting that out there for all the people in fantasy football panicking and like, should I sell my rookie running back? Should I bench them? Should I trade them away? But just be patient. They're coming. So, all right. That is it for me. And then unless you got anything else for...
No, happy iPhone 17 Pro release week. So
yeah, it is. My parents were talking about getting one. And yeah, I saw the iPhone Air. I was like, that's interesting.
Grayson would break that in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, it would be broken. So, but it was interesting. It's light, I'm assuming, right?
It's light. It's thin.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like 5.6, but it only has one camera, which I think is a trade-off because you at least and it doesn't have an ultra wide. So for those who are with so much information, if you're not heavy into photography, but if you want to, anything right about an ultra wide, you want to take that type of shot. Cool. One of the best implementations that they have made is now the base iPhone has 120 hertz, so ProMotion display. But the center stage camera, which probably is now going to be a cell phone industry trend, is the selfie camera is a bigger sensor, but it's square. So just from this orientation, you no longer have to turn your phone to shoot landscape or portrait. So that's probably going to be, yeah. And the biggest reason I may upgrade is this: my battery is this shot. And it's not shot to the point to where I can go to Apple Care and get a replacement because it's at like 83%, and that needs to be sub 80. But I'm just doing certain things now, and the phone just gets super hot, and I'm just like,
yeah, I hate that. For the end of the life. You said in what was it 2027? They're gonna. It's looking like the iPhone's gonna do the foldable.
It potentially as early as next year, and that's what the iPhone Air may be a precursor to, because if they do a foldable, the screens, the individual screens will be that thin.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. And I mean, my phone is not paid off enough where I can upgrade anyways. But even if it's not next year when that foldable comes out, I'm getting the foldable. That's what I want. I want the foldable.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that comes out soon. All right, bro. Thank you for those who are listening. Thank you for tuning in for another week of Film Don't Lie. We appreciate you hearing us out and break down the rest, the.
Give us a like, give us a sub. Absolutely. Reach out to us. You got our handles. They're in the description of the show. Just copy paste. Reach out to us. You can DM us as long as we talk football. We'll talk ball all day, every day. This is what we do.
Absolutely. We cover the whole league, not just the Eagles. So enjoy week 3 as it approaches. And remember, Alonzi Travel, if you're planning a vacation and need a travel agent, I'm your man. So reach out to me. For myself, for Pete, for the rest of us at A2D Radio. Peace out.
Peace.